curtain, simply curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn, because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today.
I hate to interrupt you guys. They're singing it so pretty this morning. Good morning. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Tony Brown. Yes, this is one street over. What's going on one street over from where you live? And that's what we're doing every morning, 7 to 8 a.m. on 1100 WSGI to get that official ID in there. I think that I was listening to the music coming in. I try to let them do it, digitally, but sometimes we just have to make sure you know what you're listening to. It's a little rainy out there this morning. Rainy days and Mondays never get me down. I'm just saying, that song, there's a song, Rainy Days and Mondays always get me down. If you know that, that's a hook line from a song from back long ago, but they do not me. I'm one of these people, I like the rain. I do. My husband, he just doesn't like the clouds and all that. I don't mind it. If it's in the hot summertime and I get cloud cover and drizzle, I love to get out and do yard work because weeds come up easier. It's refreshing. I'm serious. I love to work out in my yard as long as it's not lightning. He went on a walk. He's gotten to where he walks early in the morning. I cannot get myself together to get out and walk in the morning. I just can't. And so he saw lightning off in the distance, and he's like, I guess I better get myself back to the house before I get struck by lightning. Lightning, I don't play with. Do you ever get caught? Kaleb Stratton's in the house. He is our district sergeant.
You got it. Look at that first try.
I finally got it, buddy.
Didn't even rehearse it.
I think I finally got it with Wildlife Resources. And do you ever have anything that comes up from lightning strikes and stuff? I would think, in the woods, or do they call you from concerns with that? Because
no,
do we have we ever had forest fires start from lightning?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I would think so.
Nothing just totally crazy, but yeah.
Well, because we take care of our forest here, and we make sure that we do a little better than they do out in California. California, I don't even understand all that, but
there's so many acres.
Forest
out
maintenance,
there.
yeah,
and there's so many acres of just constant here. I mean, the worst you're going to lose is not that much at a time, before it hits a road or some kind of natural break, a river or something like that.
Gotcha.
So that helps
it's not,
us a lot.
That helps us. Okay, I got you.
But I've had to call the state forestry before, when I used to work for the sheriff's office I was trying to find some info. When we've had house fires in the woods and, they've come out with their bulldozers and, we actually have, I think there's one in White House is the closest one, but state forestry, you don't think about it. A lot of their job is firefighting.
Really?
They'll go out and if we have a fire, they'll come out with a bulldozer and they'll cut a fire ring in the woods wherever we are to keep that from spreading. So.
Well, and that's funny. I had originally thought that Jessica Drake was coming in. It's kind of her month to come in. We've missed it for a few months, but she ended up taking today off, and so she's not available today. And I didn't realize it until this weekend, and so I reached out to the fire chief. I called yesterday to see if I could catch him, and he wasn't in. I'll catch him this week. I really want to get him in. Because summertime, I have brush that I like to burn, and I have to be reminded of burn permits, when those start, when that ends, because there's a timeline from when you need a permit to when you don't need one. And I forget exactly. It's not the summertime because
it's already over now.
Yeah, you need a permit now.
No, I think it may be over. I don't think
that we don't need a permit. Okay, because it is pretty wet out, so I could probably burn that brush. My problem is, my brush pile, we have an area we have like a little new forested area that I just absolutely adore because it all came up wild. There's a few trees in there I planted, but I mean like maybe 4, but most of that forest is natural. It's just what God grew, and I just love it. It's fascinating.
May 15th.
May 15th.
I was thinking March, but
okay, so I could go ahead and burn that brush. But
you got to have a permit.
Until May 15th.
Yep, after May 15th, you're good.
Okay.
But they're super easy.
But here's the thing, though. We'll have drought times that'll hit us in the summer, and there'll be like a no-burn ordinance out. So after May 15th. Okay. But my thing is, if I do not let the local emergency officials know I'm burning brush, everybody thinks my wood's on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have this garden spot right in the center of the woods that I had for a garden, and then I finally gave it up because I was just feeding the deer and the rabbits and the squirrels and all that. And so but I've left it as a clearing because it's a nice little clearing for us to, do stuff and to burn brush. But boy, when we set that thing, everybody in the neighborhood
goes
thinks
up.
our woods are on fire,
Yeah.
and if we don't call, we end up wasting people's time with
Yeah.
they think it's an emergency call. So we pretty much have to make sure everybody knows that
That's the
the
biggest
woods
thing.
aren't on fire.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing with that. And even though it's state forestry, you can get your permit all on your phone now. You don't even have to talk to anybody. You can put it all in on your phone, and then the best thing to do is call dispatch at 384-4911. It's a
Right.
pretty easy phone number, 384-4911. So
Exactly. Couldn't ask for an
call
easier
them
one.
and just tell them. That way, if they do get a 911 call, they can say, "Oh, well, that's probably LaVern. Let me call and make sure everything's okay."
Yeah.
And they'll just call you instead of sending the whole fleet of
Right.
everybody out there.
But I've learned to give them a heads up if we're doing brush. But I'll tell you, Paul Rainey, who, like I said, 41 years, Metro Fire, he says they used to have to deal with brush fires all the time around Ridgetop that were caused by sparks off of train wheels.
Oh yeah.
How interesting is that? Now, I would have never thought that.
That's
I would have
why-
never thought that.
The CSX tries to do a good job of keeping all that
Yeah.
clear. That way, there's no brush close by or grass or
never
anything.
thought about
But
that.
yeah,
Huh.
it happens.
That's fascinating. Just the things you learn when you tune in to One Street Over. Come on. All right. So, how close are we to boating season?
Shoot, it's already started.
I'm so sorry.
Unfortunately, I had to work a fatal last week.
Oh,
I
man.
was the lead on that.
What happened?
I don't know.
Oh,
it was
man.
a kayaker, and
God bless him.
I luckily got to spend a lot of time with his wife. Well, unfortunately, I guess, but
Yeah.
and talking to her and just learning about him and just their history, and just it's always so sad. He was 73. He was
Aw.
from what I understand, he was in the Guinness World Book Record for him and his wife. They were marathon runners and had run over 300,000 miles together.
Oh.
He himself had ran over 204,000 miles, and
Wow.
just an avid outdoorsman, loved to kayak, and that's what they were out kayaking. And I don't know if he got caught. There was a storm that hit, and I don't know if he got caught up in the storm or what. But we unfortunately found him on Friday.
Oh. That is so
last week,
tragic.
But
And
it
how old was he?
73.
God bless.
From
That's how old
Pittsburgh,
my daddy
Pennsylvania.
was.
Yep.
That's how old my daddy was when he died. Let me tell you something. That's young. That's just too young,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
with somebody that was such an avid outdoorsman. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
God bless him. That's so awful. That's got to be that would have to be just the absolute hardest part of the job y'all do.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, the hardest part of the job y'all do is having to take care of those things. And God bless you. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. But guys, be careful. When you said kayaking, I thought it was going to be something to the degree of like you had a boat hit a kayak.
Right. Well, and that's
Last
happened too.
year.
That's actually been a couple years ago now.
Has it been?
Yeah.
That to me is just one of the most tragic things ever. And kayakers and stuff, we've talked a lot about if you're somebody that likes to get out on the water and those things, get you one of those bike flags. Get you a bike flag off the back of that thing to
The
where they
broader
can
the-
see you because you're so
Yes.
low they can't see you.
Low and just the colors,
Yeah.
not the color of this black or that blue mouse pad. I mean, you get these dark color kayaks, brown,
Yeah.
dark green, dark blue, dark
It's like
black.
a stick of wood.
Well, yeah, just you can't see it, and then you're wearing dark blue, dark black, and it's
Oh.
like you wear bright yellow, orange, wear something,
Yeah.
and have your kayak in the same color. Man, that rain's coming down. Isn't it?
It really is coming down. I wonder what that's going to do to the baseball games tonight. I'm supposed to go see a baseball game tonight, but I'm just kind of wondering. But and we have track practice, all that stuff. But anyway, go ahead. I don't. My brain.
Well, no, I heard the
that's how-
rain.
That's how my brain goes. It goes. Wonder what that's going to do to the day.
The rain's almost over anyway.
But anyway.
But no, so that's as far as kayaking
So-
goes. Yeah, just make yourself visible
Okay.
As much as you can. Now, this didn't have anything to do with it, so everything looked fine as far as that goes. He wasn't hit by a boat or anything.
Yeah,
like
he
that,
just
so.
it was just a tragedy of being out on the storms. And,
Maybe.
Yeah,
So
who knows?
It could have been a medical emergency. We'll know after the autopsy.
Well, that's true too. You get out in situations like that. My dad had an aneurysm.
Yeah.
And he
Never
was
know.
he was in his bed, but it's just it happens quickly, those kinds of things. And I mean, he'd been on the tractor all day. He could have easily had it on the tractor, and we found this. So you just never know. But like you said, a medical emergency or something could have happened, and not even realize it. Well, God bless them. Prayers for that family, but. Just the fun and the excitement of summer. Please be careful. Paul is asking, did he have a life vest on? I guess
Yeah.
in emergency. Yeah, that's true, Paul.
Yeah, we found him floating on his back with the life jacket on.
Yeah,
so.
so he there you go. So I bet there was a medical emergency. I feel like there had to have been. Yeah. So but yeah, Paul, Paul being connected to the
Yeah.
emergency world, he hears all the details.
Sure,
but yes,
he's been
Paul,
out
that
there a
was
lot in
true.
the past. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as we said, boating season has already started. Cannot say enough about being careful. I have a son that is an absolute avid boater now. And he just loves getting out on the water and all those things. And and he is very responsible. But I can't. It's kind of like with him with his motorcycle. I'm like, yeah. But I mean, the most dangerous thing we do is get behind the wheel of our vehicles, guys.
Oh yeah.
The most dangerous thing we get. I got to tell you this. It's so funny. My friend, I just saw something pop up from John Rice. He went to, and I think you'll appreciate this as working in wildlife resources. So he went to Libya for a tour, right? Okay, he's just this person that just travels the world. I just vicariously travel with him. It's fascinating. And so the caution was where they went to this ancient ruins, and then they had to drive back across the desert. And it was always advised, don't drive this at night. It's a dangerous area. And they had a flat tire. And then they get back up on the road and they're thinking, okay, we're going to be in the dark, but we're going to be okay. And all of a sudden the bus is in, swerves, and they hit a camel.
Oh no.
They hit a camel in Libya and got back like at midnight, and they're fine. But I'm like, ever had a camel?
Yeah, we're worried about deer.
Yeah, it's like, can you imagine hitting a camel? I was like, oh my gosh. And he said that they had to wait until they got some help to get it off the road, because you don't leave a camel laying across the only road across the desert. Somebody will get killed because that's a big animal. Have you ever dealt with a camel? Do we have camels around here that you've seen?
We've got some
People
that are
keep 'em?
pets. Yeah, we've got a couple that are pets that I know of. But
That's funny. So
Never seen
in
'em get
Robertson
out.
County, have you seen any camels? Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
So
I
yeah,
don't know if they still have them or not, but
Yeah.
there used to be. Actually, my boss used to have one.
that's hysterical.
I've got a picture of me with it, but
That's funny. So yeah, we don't have things like that. But you know what we do have, and I had this happen to me one time. We talk about hitting deer. This is up in West Kentucky, up in Mayfield. I had gone to a youth event with some of the teens. This is when I was in college, and I was coming home, and it was late at night, and I topped the hill, and somebody's horses had gotten out, and there was a herd of horses in the road, and I hit the brakes and just kind of slid into them. But I mean, these were big horses. Yeah. Do you have that happen much?
I know there was a horse that got hit right in front of my house actually 2 years ago now probably, that had gotten out.
But I mean, that's massive. That's a big old animal to be hitting.
Mainly here it's cows. We probably get 4 or 5 cows a year in the county that get hit by cars, I'd say.
And tragic accidents. I covered an accident up on 431 during my traffic career. I'll never forget it, where a cow got out. There was a barbecue place kind of right there in the curve. I can't remember the name of it, but a cow was out there, and the guy hit it, and he lost his life, and it was terrible accident.
I mean, we're used to hitting deer that way, 200 pounds, 300 pounds at the most.
Yeah.
200, mainly 150, 200, but then you get a 2,000, 3,000 pound cow or horse. Yeah, it's a lot.
That's
different.
massive. That is massive. Just be careful out there. It's this time of the year that we just all want to go out and run around. Just be careful. Just watch those roads. And
same thing this morning. I had a friend a couple years ago. A tree had fallen on the road, and she came around the corner and hit and was in the hospital for a while.
My goodness.
The only reason I know is because I had to go find her dad. A dispatch called, and her dad was turkey hunting.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to go find her dad turkey hunting, and let him know what had happened. So it always something.
That's just it. Be careful out there, guys. Have fun. Summer's almost here. I mean,
this weekend, my guys in Davidson County, they got their first BUI this weekend. It's taking
boating under the influence.
Taking people to jail already for having too much fun. So just watch out.
Don't do it.
Oddly enough, it is legal to drink and drive a boat, and it feels weird to even say that, but it is legal. Is it the right thing to do? Probably not.
Yeah.
Will that be changed in the future? I hope so.
Yeah.
But you still can go to jail. It's the same laws and rules as driving a motor vehicle. So
yeah.
Other than you can drink and drive a boat, but as far as the alcohol content or your alcohol levels, everything's the exact same.
So how do you test them on the water? You can't or do you have them pull over to the dock and walk? Or?
We can, but what we do, and we're this is really starting to catch on. It's the same type of field sobriety test that we do, but we do it seated. So you just sit down on the boat. So the boat doesn't necessarily have to be completely still. It can be rocking a little. If it's moving, we try to wait for the waves to calm down. But no, we do everything right there on the boat. Everything's seated. And we're starting to teach this to agencies all over Tennessee, because they're running into, THP or local PD. They'll pull somebody over that's physically disabled and they can't do anything. They can't stand up and do these tests.
Sure.
So
What's a seated
we're teaching
sobriety?
them to do seated field sobriety tests.
Huh.
So you don't have
Okay.
to get up and walk and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just people with bad knees, bad hips.
Sure.
I could hardly walk this morning.
Yeah.
But just you getting
Getting
out of
old,
bed.
man.
Yeah, getting out of bed. So
You got to get some bionic parts
so
like me.
the seated field sobriety it shows a lot.
Yeah, interesting. Well, a lot of it's your eyes,
That's that. Well,
isn't it?
yes, yep.
I would
That's
think.
called HGN, horizontal gaze nystagmus. So
Yeah.
a lot of that does show up, and I can't remember the exact percentages, but yeah, if you have, let's say there's total 6 clues, if you have 4 out of the 6 clues, it's like an 80-something% chance,
Oh,
that you're impaired to 0.08. But
I just don't understand why why you would. You don't have to drink and get behind the wheel of anything. I
Right.
just don't. I don't understand. Why would you put your
there's
put that risk on you? I don't understand it. And
there's tons of people now, like when you rent a boat in Nashville, especially
Mm-hmm.
at Percy Priest, like they offer for you to purchase a sober captain, like somebody that works for them to come out there and drive the boat for you. That's not going to
Yep.
drink. So
there you go. So
mean,
somebody else that can navigate the boat, so
people
you
are
don't have
always
to worry
offering
about it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we're talking with Kaleb Stratton. He is our district sergeant for wildlife resources, and we're about to hit a real busy summertime, and boating season has already started. We're just really weeks away from the official start of it. Be safe out there. As he said, we already had somebody that lost their life in a kayak, and they're going to be out there policing. They've had a boater under the influence arrest already, so be careful. You have to have a fishing license to fish, guys. You know those rules. What do we have as far as, is there any hunting season? I was walking the other day. No, that's not true. I was actually on my golf cart. I wasn't walking. I wasn't exercising. I was running around on my golf cart through the woods, and my dogs flushed out a turkey, and oh my goodness, they were so excited. And so we don't have a turkey season now. For the next one will be the one that's right before Thanksgiving, right?
Well, no, so that's actually I was going to say. Let's change the subject and quit
Okay.
talking about boating.
Yeah, he's so sick of boating. I
Well,
know. So what's going on with our hunting?
So
and
yeah, it's
fishing?
turkey season right now.
It is turkey
Yep.
season.
Turkey season, actually, it's been
okay.
open for just over a week now. So
Okay, so how long does it last? I could have harvested that turkey they flushed out for me,
Well,
huh? It
only-
was a nice one too.
only if it had a beard on it. So bearded turkeys only.
Bearded turkeys only. I don't know about that, but it was a big bird, man, that they flushed out.
And you're going to start seeing a lot of turkeys by themselves
Yeah,
because
this one was
they're starting
completely
to
alone.
probably a hen. They're starting to already find their nest. They've already been through mating some, so
Mm-hmm.
they're it closes May 25th this
So
year. So
we don't want to hit the hens. We want to.
no,
just the-
yeah, because we want those babies to
Yeah.
keep on going. So yeah, we still got over a month left.
Okay.
It'll close Sunday the 25th, which is
So
Memorial
only
Day
bearded.
weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, no, turkey season's been great this year. People have harvested a lot of birds all over Middle Tennessee. We hosted so I was going to talk
You
about
had the
this.
youth thing, yeah.
Yeah, so I've always said just, when I was a kid, you would harvest a deer or turkey and you'd either go to 49 Market or somewhere else. There was so where the fairgrounds is, the volunteer fire department used to be there. You would go there and check your turkey in, and you could get a drink or go across the street to the gas station and get a drink, and everybody would just hang out for
Yeah.
an hour or two and just talk about your
Sure.
hunt and look at everything.
Yeah.
Just change stories. The adults would talk, the kids would talk and
Yeah.
play and have fun. And, now that we've got these phones, we harvest a turkey, we check it in on our phone, and we put it on Facebook, and we go home. And you don't
Yeah.
even talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You go back to playing video games or just whatever
Right.
you're doing in life. So I was like, I want to do this, not necessarily host a hunt, but just a place for people to go and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was brought up to me actually a few years ago by somebody, and Billy Joe Jackson, and we talked about it. COVID hit, we didn't do it, and so they brought it up again, like, y'all want to do that? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some donors and got a gun purchased to give away, lots of door prizes, sausage and biscuits, donuts, drinks. So we ended up with over 43 kids showing
That's
up.
awesome.
Over 100 people total, just people in the community just
That's
showed up
great.
just to come see what was going on and see everybody's turkeys. And I posted it on Facebook, and our
How
agency
fun.
did too. It was so cool.
I see. I really would have loved. Baseball keeps us out of all that stuff right now. That's that's a conversation I have with my grandson. He wants to do it all, and it's like, well, you can't do it all with baseball. That's one of the reasons we didn't play baseball. I've said that is because it's so intrusive into everything you do. Had something we had the kids out at the house on Saturday, and he's like, I want to come out here and spend a week and fish, Mama and Papa. And I was like, you work it out with your baseball schedule, and I mean, we're all about it. We'd love for it, but it's one of those things. But I'm so glad, because when was that? It was a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yes, that was a juvenile hunt, so it would have been April 5th, I think.
Right. Yeah, we were baseballing.
But and luckily for us here, I mean, right here, so they played baseball in other places, but it rained so bad here that a lot of it got canceled here.
You know what? That's true. That was
I don't know where you're playing, but
that's what it was.
Like in Murfreesboro, it never rained, so I had people that were going to come that they ended up going to Murfreesboro and playing because it never rained there. We got 6 inches of rain, they got 0.
Well, see, I had forgotten that we could have made it then, because I had forgotten completely, because that was that week we got the terrible rain.
It was all the rain.
That's right, because we were supposed to have had a track meet that day at MLK for our. I forgot.
Yeah, that rain hit here about 7:30 that morning.
Yeah, and it was a mess. That was oh my goodness.
But
you were able to have your event.
No, that's what I said. We had it there, where they do the Bell Witch play at the Homer Gene Worsham Pavilion. So we were able to go in there and just the kitchen's there. Everybody was under the cover, so that didn't matter though. Those kids, it was so cool to see. They were out there splashing in the water and playing in the mud puddles in the rain.
I'm sure they had a ball.
Parents were fine with it. It was so cool, so fun.
That's
just to
great.
see.
Well, I'm so glad that was a good event. That's great.
We're already planning one for the fall. I'm not sure where, because they'll have the spirit play going on.
Right.
So we can't have it there for the deer season this fall.
You can have it at my house.
We're gonna do. I
don't have a pavilion, but you can have it at my house. You can put a tent.
We're gonna do another one. Probably Cedar Hill. Maybe they've got that big pavilion out there in Cedar Hill.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
Over there by the football field. So
yeah,
I don't know yet. We're still working on it. It's still a long ways away, but it was such a huge success. Everybody was just the community out support we had, and the reaching out after the fact, just like, thank you so much. And I'm like, it wasn't me, it was everybody.
Gotcha.
But it was so cool just to have all those people there. And they're like, when can we do it again? I wish we could do it every weekend, but yeah. But yeah, so hopefully first of deer season, that juvenile hunt in October.
Awesome.
Do it
That'd
again.
be good. So we're in turkey season right now. We've got, of course, fishing, boating, and all that's happening. Is there any other hunting season that, you have coming up?
That's it, really. So normally once turkey season's over, everybody kind of just takes a break. Most people are fishing.
Fall.
And then the dove season will come around in September. So
okay.
That's about the biggest things going on. People will still coyote hunt at night now that there's a night season, but people will still coyote hunt all year round. But
you can hunt coyotes anytime because they're such a nuisance,
much,
right?
Yeah.
So, but we don't seem to have. I don't know. I think my big old Great Dane scares everything to death. They've got the dog that lives over at the wastewater plant, the white dog.
Yeah.
And she used to come down to my house all the time. She doesn't come near us. She'll come in, and boy, the minute we let that dog out, she's like, I'm going. She's just like, what is that thing? He's just so big. I think it freaks her out. But
it does its job.
Yeah, he's a big old boy. We just want to remind everybody it's not a deer. He looks like a deer across the field, but of course we're not in deer season right now. Anything else that we need to mention coming up?
That's about it. Just turkey season, like I said, going on.
Right.
For turkey season, it is 2 bearded turkey, so people always think it's a male turkey. That's not necessarily true. Although we don't want to kill the hens.
Right.
It's bearded turkey, so some hens do have beards on them, so you're allowed to harvest those.
But is there any way you can confirm maybe that, okay, that's just a hen with a beard? Is there any other way?
Not a true. I mean, an experienced hunter, you can definitely tell. Most hens are going to have they're going to have a little bit of color on their head, but they're all gray, like gray heads. And the gobblers, the male birds, are going to have red, white, and blue heads. A lot of color, a lot of red heads. You'll see red, white, and blue. They're beautiful birds. But a lot of red on their head instead of gray. Hens are obviously a lot smaller.
Okay.
Probably half the size, not quite half, quarter the size of the male bird. So just size difference and stuff.
Well, that's what you said, that some of the hens will be by themselves. This one that they flushed out yesterday was by itself, but it was a big bird.
When they're by themselves, they're going to look big. But when you see one beside a gobbler or a male bird, you're going to say, oh.
Okay.
So if you thought that one was big, you see the other one, you're like, oh, wow.
This was a hen then, because it was by itself. And it was probably nesting because it was up in the tall grass.
More than likely.
And I'll remind everybody, it's tick season. I did a little scavenger.
Wart,
Oh, they're everywhere. And we did a little scavenger hunt up in our woods for the kids, for their Easter egg stuff. And I thought I was so smart, but I just didn't think about, and I had them walking through the tall grass a little bit, nothing terrible, but we should have cut trailed it out with a weed eater or something in the areas that we were going to take them into the woods and put some stuff on them because we had ticks everywhere. Got ticks. My son pulled 4 off of him just from walking through the woods. I mean, this is to me the worst time of the year for ticks.
This is when it is. Yep.
This right now is at this time of the year, you better treat everything because you'll get them on you just everywhere. And those little bitty tiny seed ticks.
Yep.
They'll get places you never thought they could get.
And
so,
you don't know they're on you for a long time until they get a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and then you'll realize it and you're like, but be real careful because it kind of snuck up on us. I wasn't even thinking about it. And
No,
I mean,
me too.
it was so funny. I asked my grandson, I said, well, did you enjoy the egg? And he said, except for the ticks. I was like, yeah, I know, son. It was all right, but that's part of the country. But yeah, tick season's here, y'all.
Yep.
Be careful. And you newbies that are not from around here, spray yourself down. Get you some deep woods off and just spray and wear pant legs. Spray your legs and it'll take care of it.
We're probably, I know you're used to it. You see them and you pull them off. You don't think anything about it. A lot of people freak out.
Oh, I know.
But you got to do, I mean, this, the whole Lyme disease thing, it's getting more and more prevalent, it seems like. And, that alpha gout now is being caused a lot by tick bites where you can't eat red meat.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine that's a game warden, been a game warden for years. He can't eat red meat, all because he got bit by a tick. So.
Yeah, and that happened to my daughter-in-law's, a friend of her father's that was a big hunter. And it's not something that usually lasts your entire life. Sometimes it's a 7-year run, they say, but it's a few years you can't eat. I don't eat a lot of red meat, so it wouldn't bother me a bit, but I'd sure hate it for my husband.
You say that, and then, it's like, I can't eat that. No,
but I really don't. And so I don't eat a ton of meat.
We have cookouts and stuff, and I'm like, I got to go buy a turkey burger for Brad because he
can't eat the red meat, and that's really bizarre. But it is. Be diligent about it, and you won't have to worry about it. Just just spray yourself with the off or something.
And I have a hard time. See, I hate spraying myself with stuff like that, chemicals. I don't like it.
I don't either, but I sure don't like the ticks.
But you don't like ticks either.
Well, but if I wear long pants when I'm going to be in the woods,
right.
And if you're spraying your clothing,
right.
I wear boots and long pants. I'm not one of these that go run around in shorts in the woods. That's just silly, y'all. I mean,
Easy now,
well, I'm just telling you, if you want to keep the ticks and the mosquitoes off your legs, that's how you take care of it. And I just grew up that way. So Lee Marie's supposed to be popping in here. Jessica was off today, I think, because of the Easter holiday. And so Lee Marie said, well, I'm going to come in and we're just going to do like our calendar rundown. I have not heard from her. So you're welcome to hang out. I do want to mention this. I do work with Celebrate Recovery, and we've got the Celebrate Recovery at the Calvary Church up here in Greenbrier. Calvary Baptist is beginning this Sunday, this coming Sunday at 5 p.m. So we're Celebrate Recovery on Sundays. This is the first one I've ever seen, so I'm going to try to get Spence in here, and we'll definitely keep talking about it, Spence. But the Celebrate Recovery is going to start up at Calvary Baptist up here in Greenbrier. You can't miss it this Sunday at 5 p.m. So you want to remind you of that. And this would be a good time. I bet you pop into Bernard Farms every now and then and get something. Do you ever go?
Menards. Yeah, I thought you said Menards, and I'm like, no.
Bernard Farms. They're one of our sponsors, and today is the day that we talk about them. They sponsor on Monday, and so I sent Julie a message last night. I said, number one, how was your Easter thing? They had an Easter event on Saturday, and it was just packed. It was just wonderful. So we appreciate everybody that came out for that. But I said, so what are you cooking? What are you cooking? What are you preparing this week as far as, is it beef or pork? And she says that they've got, I think she said pork. Hang on just a second. Let's see. Cutting pork on Tuesday. Cutting pork on Tuesday. So that means all, fresh cuts. She puts up pictures of their meat counter. Oh, goodness, it is beautiful in there. And then they have sausages and biscuits that you can come in the morning and get. Just an awful lot of fun. I'm so tickled.
Got those pork burgers you can get for lunch. They're really good.
They're just awesome. But if you, and also too, they've got Leadership Robeson County group is going to be stopping by to see about the They're having a lunch there this week with Leadership Robertson County because they're going to be talking about the diversification on farming. And that's why I tease them. I say, you are my farming heroes, because I love to see what they've done with their farm to be able to pass it on to the next generation. Because my family farms, my brother and
just
his
to offer
bride.
local too, just offering that local thing. So
offering the meats, the fresh cut meats locally, you just can't beat it. And so it's just a beautiful place. They've got so much going on there at their market. If you've not been to Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market, you really don't know what you're missing. They're open right now. You can stop by. They're at 7336 Clay Gregory Road in Orlinda. The number is 615-637-0004. And again, pork burgers for lunch.
they're good.
That's what Kaleb said. Check them out. And just a lot of fun stuff. I've got to get in there in the store and just look around again. But I just love what they've done with the place.
They've got all kinds of, hats and some shirts.
I've got a mug she gave me.
I would say somebody makes those mugs that they sell too. It's pretty neat
I tell you, I've never seen my coffee stay as hot. I've got one of those that I'll have to bring it in, and I usually am done with my coffee.
One of those clay one is one of those clay.
No, I've got a metal one that she gave me that's almost made like
like one of these kind of.
Yeah,
almost, yeah.
But it is great, and I mean it keeps my coffee so hot. But it's got Bernard Farms on the side of it too.
Well, I think they got some of those. I call them clay, like pottery ones, cool looking ones. I like.
They've got all kinds of fun stuff in there. Some great gift ideas. If you want the Robertson County experience, get into Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market. Again, open right now. You can go by and have breakfast if you would like. They're open 7 to 4 Monday through Saturday, 1 to 4 on Sunday. So 7 days a week, you can stop in, dine in. They got outdoor seating, in-store pickup, and a beautiful meat counter. Just beautiful stuff, locally grown, locally cut and produced. And we appreciate them sponsoring. When you get by there, be sure and let them know that U-Turn sent you. And I saw Lee Marie pop in. So anything else that you want to say before we go?
That's it. That's all I got to say. I'll see you next month.
I'll see you next month. Thank you always for coming in. Our district sergeant for wildlife resources. And you need to bring Jason in with you next time, maybe. We haven't had him in a while, so we need to visit with him. Yep. So as he heads out, I'm going to continue talking just a little bit more about Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market, because as I was talking to Julie yesterday, she says they're also gearing up for Mother's Day, Memorial Day. That's going to be here in a minute. Mother's Day really is just weeks away now. So if you want to do something special for mom, make Bernard Farms a part of it. And again, that Leadership Robertson County group is going to be coming by and having lunch just to hear about the diversification that they've done. I talk about them being my farm heroes because they have mastered being able to do all the different things so they can make sure and pass this along to the next generation, because farming's not getting any easier, y'all. Not at all. So love talking about them, love talking to them. Go by and see my friends, Julie and Steve at Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market, 7536 Clay Gregory Road in Orlinda. Let them know U-Turn sent you. Lee Marie is in the house.
Good morning.
Thank you, friend, for coming in here and talking to me.
My pleasure.
This morning. She is the keeper of the calendar of events, of everything going on in Robertson County. And one thing you mentioned to me, and I'm so glad you reminded me about this, heads up, because this is such a special thing, is the National Day of Prayer that's coming up. And it's not this Thursday, it's next Thursday. And that thing seems to sneak up on me every year, but I now wrote it on my calendar.
Oh, good.
So that way, I want to do something special that day. I a lot of the times like to call David Evans in. I just love, I just love having him on radio. Mm-hmm. And so David, Dr. David Evans, if you're listening, or what you doing next Thursday morning, I'll reach out to him. But he's a good one, and has a big following here in town, and people like hearing from him. But and I love talking to his bride as well. I've got a message for her. She does counseling and does a lot of specialty work in suicide and suicide prevention. And I had her come in and do something with me at school, and it just was too long. And so we're going to redo it. And I've messaged her with one of the kiddos doing it. And then because we can make some more structured questions and keep it more concise and to the point. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Just all these cool things. There's so many cool people in town to talk to. So many cool people. I'm just still trying to get Rose in here. I want to get Rose in here. She made it in here one day, and I had double booked because she just knows everything about the library and all the cool things there. So, and you do too. You do too. Do you know if they have one of those the bags where you can go somewhere for the Parthenon?
I don't know.
I want to go to the Parthenon, and
Maybe we can get a list of all the kits that they
that
have.
would be, we need
I'll
to
do
do
that.
that because I would love to know. I went to the Parthenon to gather some images we needed for something at school, and I thought I could. I don't know. I just thought I could go in for a not expensive price. It was $20 to go in. I just needed to take some pictures of the. I just needed some images, so I didn't have time to really spend. If I'd had time, I wouldn't have mind. If I'd had hours to go in and look at the artwork and all of that. I don't like hanging out with Athena. Athena, she creeps me out. The big statue in there, I'm like, oh, why'd you have to put that thing in here? But anyway, so I kind of avoid her. But
All right. Well, there's a lot coming on. So there's a lot coming up. So
you want me to shut up
Yeah,
so you can talk about it?
We need to go.
Go, Lee Marie.
First
All right,
off,
go.
first off, you mentioned David Evans and
Okay.
over at Springfield Baptist, and I want to do a shout out to them because last week they hosted at their church in their fellowship hall Monday through Thursday noontime
Yes.
lunches followed by speakers, and it was a different church each day, and it was wonderful. So I just wanted to also thank Springfield for opening up their doors for that and put it on your calendar for next year because I was surprised at some of my friends that said, "Oh, I didn't realize." I said, "Well, it happens every year, so put it on your calendar."
Yeah.
But there was so many great things, and I went to see Lamb of God at South Haven on Saturday night. Yeah. I went live a few times. You might have seen that. It was fantastic. 100-person crew performing that. So awesome job, South Haven as well. Did you happen to see the big beautiful write-up we got for our Orange Heart Medal?
That is wonderful.
We got a full half page about the Orange Heart Medal weekend that we did.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, and I still am so happy that we had 21 high schoolers from Robertson County come out and help us with that.
On the night before, whenever they read the names, that was just so beautiful.
So it's a really cool article that's in the Robertson County Connection, and also the online version actually has more photos. Like, so in the newspaper it has 4, but I think the online has like 20 or something.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, including a picture of you, I believe.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's very sweet. But I'm just so tickled that Brian and Dawn were able to come out. Brian and Dawn Wilson. That is wonderful, and that's just cool. I was on the track field with my kiddos.
Well, at least you were able to come Friday night, and
Yes,
that's cool.
Yes.
All right, so a lot of stuff going on, even starting today. Okay, Cindy Norton is doing this amazing band
her.
exercise class.
So fun.
Yes, so over at the Well, next to Crossroads, 10 a.m. every Monday. It's only $5. She supplies the bands, so you get brand new bands, little package for yourself. And so come today, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And then at 11, of course, I do line dance. So I do line dance classes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 11 a.m. and Tuesdays at 5:30. So, and I'm just realizing so much more. The more I talk to Wild Doc, and he says, "Hey, if you don't, move a joint for 14 days, it starts to lock up. You got to be moving." And so this is just a fun way to do that. But please RSVP if you're coming, so that I know.
Okay.
And also now I'm back inside Crossroads. So Cindy's class will be on the front in the smaller area, but my line dance class is now you go through Crossroads and go down the stairs into the big ballroom. So
Okay.
that's where I am at. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So that is today. And then also tonight over in, let me see if here we go. In Ridgetop. This is pretty fun. Tony Reisner is the museum director and founding member of the Ridgetop Train Museum, and he is going to be speaking tonight at 7 p.m. So it says it's a great opportunity about local history and just a great time. So over at the Ridgetop Train Museum. That is tonight. Okay, ton of stuff. I know you did mention National Day of Prayer, so please, everybody, put that on your calendar. Again, that is Thursday, May 1st. One thing that I did do is I went on my Facebook page and I shared a bunch of events. And usually I do that the night before my show. So those of you that listen to my Wednesday show, you guys know every Tuesday, sometimes it's like 4 a.m, I am sharing events on my Facebook page because there's so much going on. And so I'm going to just flip through some of that right now, just kind of in order that's on my page so that you can find it. So if you go to Lee Marie, which my profile picture is just a white circle that says rule number 1 in it. And so that is my profile picture. So this Saturday, there's a bunch of stuff happening in Pleasant View. They are having, for one thing, they're having like a, neighborhood garage sale, yard sale. And then also there's a spring vendor event event inside their Civic Center. So that is this Saturday, so that's pretty fun. This Wednesday, Newsboys are in Nashville, which is fun. I don't know if you used to.
Love Newsboys.
Yeah, matter of fact, we have one song that we do a line dance to with from Newsboys. All right, so then, of course, Kilgore Festival, you have got to get that on your calendar, everybody, and especially the dance. The dance is so much fun.
Yes.
And so I
I'll
appreciate
get to dance this year.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, my knees work again.
Excellent. All right, so I'm going down just a list on my Facebook page, so this isn't chronological. Saturday, May 3rd, Green Ridge Chamber is doing their Spring in the Briar, and so that is on Saturday, May 3rd, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. This Saturday at the Y is Healthy Kids Day, and so that is going to be... Oh, yeah, they're having a lot of stuff, actually. It's from 3 to 5. Games, vendors, line dancing, snacks, crafts, fun. So that is over at the Y right here in Springfield, 3 to 5. All right, family fun night. This is tonight, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Deja Mu in Springfield. So this is going to be free face painting, $2 kid-size scoops, free balloon twisting, and so just a fun night tonight right here in Springfield. And then I want to have these people on at some point, the Not Enough Quilts and Fabric. Have you ever had them on?
I have not, and I'm looking at this right now, and it's like open sew. Is that what that is about?
Right, so that is, you just bring any project that you're working on, and yeah, and your sewing machine, and it says bring your UFOs, your unfinished projects.
Well, can it be? Does it have to be quilting directed? Or
No, it
can
could just be sewing.
Just anything. Okay. Because I've got things. I used to make costumes. I was a very, very good seamstress at one time. My machine needs work.
Well, guess what? Scroll to the next one, because guess what? Thursday, 1 to 5 p.m., they're doing a workshop on fixing your sewing machine. It says Featherweight 221 Workshop.
Okay.
And so it's everything from, the oiling and just, it says everything. Tension adjustment, stitch formation, no prior machine mechanical knowledge is necessary.
Oh, I would love to attend that. Of course, that's during school. I wonder if they would do something.
Thursday, 1 to 5.
Yeah, I'll be 1 to 5. I mean, I'll be in school.
Maybe they could come in and do a little half-hour demo here.
Well, that would be fun. I would love that because I've got a great machine. I've got a fast machine. I've got a really nice sewing machine that I've had for years and years and years. It's just not working very well anymore. And this is so interesting because you've got this old machine in this image here. There was one that was donated to our benevolent center up in Nashville years ago, and it's in a space that we're clearing out that's been sitting there. And there's been several people that have voiced interest in it, and they've never done anything with it. If you know somebody that does, work for people. I mean, we want it to go to somebody that's not going to just keep it privately because we want it to, like there's sewing groups that make things for people in hospitals. I think it probably is a really good machine. Some of these old machines are fabulous, and it's got a table and a chair with it. If you know somebody that's interested in that, we've got to get it out of that space. I had one group that was going to get interested in it, and somebody associated with them had an illness, and we just never got it done. So if you know somebody that can put an old sewing machine to use, maybe even just sell it for benevolence or something like that, we've got that thing, and you just hate to just put it in.
I bet you those not people, I would get in touch with them.
Yeah, I need to talk to them. That's a good idea. Go ahead.
Okay, so other stuff coming up. Spring Community Cleanup. It's coming this Saturday, 8 a.m. I don't know if you already talked about that. In Springfield.
Ryan
So
talked a little bit about that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could go over. He
So-
talked about it last week.
Larry's Restaurant will provide free breakfast, and then, of course, the vests and the bags and the gloves, all those supplies are going to be provided by the Tennessee Valley Authority. So come on out and help to clean up Springfield. I was talking to Buzzy last week, and I said, we need cleanup week, because it's by the time you get everything all saddled up, and then you pick up stuff for 2 hours, I think we should do these longer and more often to really make a difference, So that's just my opinion because
Well, yeah, and if you're not available on Saturday morning, but if I could go at a different time and pick up trash and just leave, because that's the thing Ryan talked about. It says it's so easy to do. You leave it on the side of the road and they come get it. And so if you can leave, bag it up and leave it and know it's going to be picked up, that's the thing. You don't want it to get, rescattered and all of those kinds of things.
So a couple other things. Today's the 21st, which means the Crossroads coupons start today. So real good Crossroads stuff. They had so much beautiful stuff in there for Easter. I don't know when that stuff's going to go on sale, but they usually have very good sales after the holidays. But I know that they're if you get this in the mail like I do, their first coupon starts today. So just get that. Our anniversary dinner is coming up. All right. It is going to be Saturday, July 26th at 3 p.m. at Ebenezer Baptist in Greenbrier. And so we're going to have some more details coming out. And I know this is, a few months off, but still mark your calendars because I don't want something else scheduled during that time.
I've got kid birthdays.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. We've got, we have our Mexico mission trip that month. And so July is really rough.
Right.
I'm going to try to make it.
Okay.
There's a very...
Well, maybe at some point, or maybe we can just record a message from you.
We've got my grandson's birthday is on the 28th, which is a Monday. There's a very high likelihood that will be his birthday.
All right. Well, I know not everybody's going to be able to come, but again, if you know people who were involved with WDBL or WSGI, please tell them about it, especially, some of these families that, were there. Mm-hmm. At the very beginning. We would love to have their families come. And also, I know that Brother T was looking through his dad's stuff. His dad passed away, about over a year ago now. Anyways, he found a bunch of old cassette tapes.
Oh, wow.
From WDBL. And I don't know what exactly is on those, but, if any of you have old again, cassettes or reel-to-reel or anything that has this stuff on it, because we've got people with all types of machines, we can, transpose it, or, videos or photographs. We would love to make that part of our slideshow.
Absolutely.
So please get a hold of me or Brother T or U-Turn LaVern.
Did Brother T, did his dad work on the radio station?
He was on a lot, I think, but I don't know exactly what the capacity was. I just saw that.
He may have had some recordings from where he did shows. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I just saw the post about the cassettes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to call him today and find out what that was all about. So, but yeah, we're going to find out a lot about people that, and the more people you talk to, the more you find out all the connections were, and I was at a birthday party about a month ago and two people were talking about Swap and Shop and how funny that was. And like, oh, did you know that my neighbor sold, and they just had so many great stories about Swap and Shop.
We wanted to rebirth that. And we talked a lot about rebirthing it early on. And the problem you have, and I'm all for it. I think it would be fabulous. We don't have a delay. Here. And when you are broadcasting over a FCC regulated airway, not having a delay is putting your license at risk because something could be said. They're not as strict as they used to be, but somebody could say something that's not supposed to go out over the public airways. And you could get in problem, so you need to have a dump button, which is a 5-second delay. So you're not true live. If you listen to ones that take live calls like WTN or the WLAC, my old home, they have a dump button. So if they're taking live calls, when you hear them on FM radio, if you hear them on the ones that are playing music, they're recording those and playing them back. That's not a live call. But if it's an actual bona fide live call, it's a 5-second delay. And that protects them and their licensing to where something vile doesn't go. Because, people can and very quickly say, we're wanting to do a live stream news with the kiddos at Greenbrier because, we record the news right now. Well, we want to get to where we can live stream it. And I told my principal to do that, I have to be there absolutely monitoring it super close because if we're streaming it over the internet, it's not regulated as a school. We don't want to take a chance on something going out that we can't, stop. So nonetheless, it can happen so quick, boy. And you have that dump feature is vital when it comes to live radio. So that's the only issue about going live with a Swap and Shop. I think it would be a blast. I would love to do it, but you've got to have that. You've got to be able to deal with that if you're dealing with an FCC regulated signal. But anyway, it'd be fun. I'm sorry, I'm digressing.
No, I really would love to see. We could figure out a way to do it. I really think we could.
I think we could too. Okay. But that would be the issue. And we've got to talk about the Bluegrass Festival and Barry and Rebecca Richards because they're our other sponsor. We haven't mentioned Jeff this morning. So why don't we do that right now? Yeah. And then we can spill over into the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. because Barry and Rebecca know that if I'm talking about them, I'm going to be talking about the festival. I've really been doing it for the last month because it's coming up and it's going to be here any minute. It is on the 16th and 17th of May. I'm so honored to be there. Lee Marie will be a part of it. She's on the board now, aren't you, that helps with the festival, from my understanding. And so it's going to be a great time. But Barry and Rebecca are founding sponsors. They are founding board members for the festival. It's up in Cross Plains. They are Cross Plainians. They've been there for 30 years. And it is just a part of what they do up in the community. And they're so involved in the community. We love them a lot. And we love that they sponsor one street over and have been our longest, our full-time, longest running sponsor really since from the very beginning. So can't say enough about how involved they are in the community, what they do for the community with the festival and all the things they're a part of. But we like to talk about how the festivals and the different places you'll see them out and about are real convenient because they'll have their tent up, they'll have a table, and you can come down and you can sit and talk with them. No pressure about all the silly questions you have maybe about real estate. Maybe you're just in the back of your mind thinking about purchasing some land down the road, or in the back of your mind thinking, well, maybe I need to sell, or just those kinds of things. Maybe you're thinking you want to be a realtor. Those kinds of questions, you can sit down and talk to them there, but you can also call them anytime, and they'll come sit and have coffee with you, and you can ask them all the crazy questions. But 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or 7424 is Barry's number, or you can connect with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy.robertsoncounty.com. Just look them up on social media, on the Google, and you will find all kinds of great images. You'll find drone footage. You'll find walkthrough tours. Great pictures, because Barry is an expert at this. He was a marketer for 17 years up in Nashville, the vice president of a media marketing company. When you bring that expertise to the table, the real estate table, it is a game changer, guys. He is the broker here in Springfield. She has the agency office up in White House. They combined those two almost 2 years ago now to be Exit Prime Realty, a new branch in the Exit tree. They've been with Exit from the very beginning, and but they were with the Garden Gate team forever, and then added their own branch in the tree. Same great team. But Exit Prime Realty, connect with them today. Sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, B-U-Y, RobertsonCounty.com. Always let them know U-Turn sent you. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival that will be coming up super quickly. We had him in last week to talk specifically about saving the date for the festival, the 16th and 17th of May. And I think we're going to try to get David Mitchell in and maybe some musicians the Thursday before. So we'll have another show dedicated to, or at least a half hour of it, dedicated to the festival. But what do you want to tell us from because you worked with it much closer than I do. I'm there that weekend, but I'm not, in the build-up.
Well, of course, we know that the contest for the kids is Friday at 5.
Right.
And that's not just fiddle. So musicians with any instrument.
Bluegrass musicians.
14 and under, and then there's also going to be clogging for 14 and under, and then another category of 15 years and up. So that's so much fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. It's an absolute
and it's just
blast.
such a great wholesome, activity to take your family to and get your younger kids, inspired by. So, and then of course there's awesome bands, Tennessee Bluegrass Band, Kings Highway, Strings and Beans, South Union, Ridgetop Ramblers, and of course Larry and Cheryl Chun and A Step Ahead. And I love when Cheryl calls the bluegrass stuff. She'll be calling them. She's calling it Friday night. And so I love that she's a great instructor and caller. So I'm super excited.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great event. Don't miss it.
All right, so can I go on to some other things?
Go.
Okay,
Go.
So yesterday, I visited 3 churches yesterday, but one of them that I did go to was Grace. And in their fellowship hall, they have the walls are lined with these huge baskets for a silent auction to support their missions. And I've been to their silent live auctions before, and it's awesome. You can get some amazing deals and while, sowing into the kingdom. And so last night I was looking at some of the stuff. It was great. So next Sunday is the last day. At 1 p.m. is when the live auction ends, but you can go in before then. So like that, for instance, if you're there this Wednesday night, you can go in, or, on Sunday before 1, you can go in and sign up for make bids on the silent auction stuff, and then at 1 p.m. they will do a live auction as well. So that's over at Grace Baptist. Please support them, and I've never seen a silent auction with so many fabulous prizes. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been to a lot of them. I love silent auctions.
Yeah. Very good.
So make sure you know about that. Okay, a Friday market is starting May 2nd. Can you believe it?
Seriously?
Yes.
Already?
Yes. So I'm super excited because this
gosh.
will be the first one that I have the big
next
ballroom.
week.
Yeah. So May 2nd is the first Friday of the season. I'm going to be doing some fun line dancing before it starts. I don't know yet if I'm going to do it like 5 to 5:30 or something like that to kind of get people warmed up for Buzzy's band.
Yeah.
So you guys can come down and see where, I teach line dancing. So I'll have a booth out front of the well, but then also we're going to be doing some type of dancing to get people warmed up for that. So
Clarify this though, because you're now inside Crossroads.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the well is not next door; it is downstairs.
Well is still next door, and that is well in the square, and that's where Cindy is teaching her class right now, and we're looking for a couple more fitness people to join us there.
Okay.
And then I'm down inside Crossroads, so we're all still connected. You know.
Yeah, I
So-
knew you were, but I didn't realize it because I'm going to start doing some of your dance stuff.
Good.
Now that my knees are working and stuff, and I'm because it's so good for exercise.
It
And I
is.
used to love to dance.
Uh-huh.
I haven't been able to dance for years because of my knees, and that's just I couldn't. They just wouldn't move right, and I can now, and so I'm excited to get back into it. Excited to get back on skis too, but I digress. Go.
Okay, also this Thursday, and Pamela Furr sent me this, and she is the contact person on this. Those Education Freedom Scholarships, they're going to have somebody from the State Department of Education out this Thursday at 6 p.m. And I did not realize, because I haven't been in this loop, but half of the scholarships are income-based, but half of them aren't.
Oh wow.
And so, and it's going to be a first come, first serve. And I heard that if Tennessee uses them all, then they'll get like an extra 5,000 scholarships next year. If
wow.
they don't, then they get capped at the 20,000 or whatever. So I had no idea about that. And so she is going to be at Purpose Life this Thursday, actually April 24th, 6 p.m., 805 Memorial Boulevard. And if you have information, if you have questions, you can get a hold of Pamela at 615-308-7013, 615-308-7013.
I'll reach out to her because I've got kids that need scholarships in my school. So very good. I'll reach out to her about that.
Okay. And then, of course, I would like to still get some more kids to participate in the National Day of Prayer.
Okay.
So it is on Thursday. It's always the first Thursday of the month. The first Thursday of May. And so we are going to have it on our courthouse steps. If it rains or something, we'll go inside the big ballroom inside Crossroads.
Okay.
So we'll be okay. Or if, wind or some other
Yeah.
act of nature happens. But that will be at 7:30 a.m. over at 8:15, so people can still get to work and such.
Okay.
And of course, County Mayor Billy Vogel will be there speaking, as well as City Mayor Buzzy Poole. And we would like to get some children. So if there's some kids that can sing, we're not going to have everything amplified because it's just a short service, but we would love to get some more kids involved. So if you have some kids that sing, please get a hold of me on Facebook, private message me, because I'm putting those final details together this week.
Very good.
Okay.
All right.
That's everything that was on my list, and I'm glad I made a list. And of course, I heard you already talk about CR, which is also this Sunday, the 27th.
And CR happens every night. There's a CR in this area. Epiphanies is tomorrow night. Tonight you can go to Long Hollow Baptist. Again, Epiphany is tomorrow night. Madison Church of Christ, we have one on Wednesday night. Thursday night, I can tell you off the top of my head, Northfield has one. Friday night, Church of the Nazarene, I think. Saturday night, I'm not 100% sure. But then Sunday now, we've got the one. Just get on the app, the CR app. You will find a CR in this area every single night. And I mean within pretty much 30 minutes of here. And so you can truly go and get that support any day of the week now, including Sunday because of Calvary Baptist. And that's right there in the heart of Greenbrier. And they're going to be at 5 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. So that's going to be awesome.
Lastly, I do want to mention that there is still one more turkey shoot to support our local veterans. Okay, so that is this Saturday, 8 a.m. to like 11 a.m., and that is over at the American Legion in Greenbrier, Post 45. So make sure. And you know what? Next month is May, which is Military Appreciation Month. There's not just one military holiday. There are 6 military.
lots.
So, if you're planning some type of event or a meeting, think about doing a military appreciation theme for your next meeting.
Very good. Okay. There you go. I appreciate it. Thank you, Lee Marie.
I'll see y'all on Wednesday, but I'll see some of you today in Cindy's class because Stephen and I are taking that. It's a great class.
Awesome. Very good. And that's all that's going on. Now, I'll tell you, tomorrow I have reached out to Mayor Vogel. I haven't really confirmed this yet, but I know he'll be okay with it. to let Joey Wassel have the first 30 minutes of his allotted time tomorrow, because Decisions, Choices, and Options event with Riley Gaines is coming up next Thursday, the evening of May 1st at Long Hollow Baptist. Riley Gaines, this is the Olympic swimmer, and just, local young lady that has been all over the news, but she's going to be the speaker. It changes the way you, like if you're sponsoring a table, you pay for the sponsorship of the table and then people come. But or if you want to just buy a ticket, they're $50. That is just, because you got to pay for the speaker and all that. So it's a little different this time. But she's going to come in and kind of give you the particulars on that. And then we'll have Mayor Vogel in from 7:30 to 8. So Mayor Vogel and I just won't G-Haul as much, and we'll get right to the business of the county commissioners meeting that's going to happen tonight. But that's what's set for tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lee Marie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kaleb Stratton. And we will see you tomorrow here on 1100 to WSGI. Stay tuned. All kinds of all kinds of wonderful programming. Christian Broadcast Company, Worldwide Christian Broadcast Company, right here from Little Old Springfield, Robertson County. Check it out and be a part of what they're building here. Thank you for joining us. Again, this is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a great day.